for participating in today's webinar. We're going to go do a relatively deep dive into document control, but we're going to do it in the context of lean documents and lean configuration, which is essentially applying the principles that are found in lean manufacturing and lean operations, applying those to documents and quality management system. So many companies, while they have made tremendous strides in lean, unfortunately fail to realize the benefits of lean because their quality management and doc control system hasn't kept up. And as we will find out, that limits how much benefit you can gain from lean if you don't apply it universally. A couple of things, the companies I'm associated with. The first one is Atzari Consulting. Atzari Consulting, I'm a partner in Atzari Consulting, and we provide direct specialty service in manufacturing, engineering, and quality system to our medical device, biotechnology, and pharmaceutical companies. Atzari Enterprises is a company that I own, and that company focuses specifically on the development of lean configuration and lean documents, tools, and concepts. We're going to start with some thought-provoking images from everyday life, images that we can all relate to, so that this will help us get into the right frame of mind as we take a trip through the various aspects of a medical device manufacturing facility. I will mention that most of my examples come from medical devices. However, having worked in biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, the principles do not change. Some of the names change, but the concepts and principles are the same. So you'll benefit from these examples. So we're going to talk about the genesis of chaos, and having spent 30 years in many companies, large and small, in role both at different levels of engineering and management, I can safely say that chaos is probably a pretty accurate word to describe the document systems that I encounter. And it's a never-ending struggle because it's almost like trying to put on a suit that doesn't quite fit, and that's what we find. So it's time we look at that suit and figure out why is it not fitting. We're going to talk about document problems and problem documents, more specifically document system problems and how they're related to what we're asking the documents to do. We're then going to explore control documents and their functions, and then we're going to really start looking at how this traditional approach generates waste. And the traditional approach is not the original approach, but it's certainly the approach that has been in the industry for a good 30 years, and most likely most of the industry, most of the life of the industry. We're going to spend some time discussing the distinction between product and process information and why that distinction is very important. And finally, having looked at this from many different aspects, we're going to arrive at a proposed theory of lean documents. And this also is a basis for its close cousin, lean configuration, its electronic cousin. It's important for those of you who are familiar with lean manufacturing that we make the logical transition, bridging lean manufacturing to lean documents, so you can see the relationships. And then we're going to explore some of the key principles, some of the key building blocks of lean documents, including literally building blocks in terms of elements of lean documents and lean configuration. Then we're going to spend some time looking at the design history file, which is a fundamental file for the history of a product. And then we're going to look at what a lean design history file looks like. We're going to explore some lean product documents, some lean process documents. We're going to spend some time on a lean master validation plan. And then to represent a bit of the functional areas, we're going to spend some time on a lean preventive maintenance system. So we're going to take a tour of different aspects, project, functional, documentation, and then finally we're going to arrive at some conclusions. So first, let's before we get started, let's take some thought-provoking images from everyday life. And this is important because the common sense that we encounter in everyday life has some principles, some lessons. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, as we walk into this plant, I don't want you to leave that common sense in the coat closet. I want you to bring that common sense in with you, and then you'll see the contrast between those lessons and what we're actually seeing. So one example is we go out to dinner, we go to a restaurant, right? And when we get to the restaurant, the host hands us a menu and ushers us to our table. Now, I like to think of that menu as a type of control document. It is two elements and one function, and these are concepts that are important that you remember as we go into our discussion. So what is the function of a menu? Well, it really only has one function. It's to help you, the restaurant guest, select your meal, right? That's why you're there. You're there to enjoy your meal, to select your meal. Someone else is going to prepare your meal, right? So the two elements are, well, you need a description of the dish, and you need to have usually some idea how much you're going to be asked to pay for that before you make that selection. Now, I can assure you, you may not think of that as a control document, but the owner, he doesn't want to show you last year's prices. He certainly doesn't want to put something on the menu that the kitchen is not prepared to serve to you. He may not have the ingredients. They may not have made the dish. So it is very important that what's on that menu is aligned with what the restaurant is willing and able to serve. Now, I think we would all agree